What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Fitness Trainer live every Sunday, 12 Eastern Time. Today we're talking about why you're not losing weight and how to fix it. But first,
updates. All right, what updates do we have this week, James?
back from vacation, back to work. Everything was great for one day, and then I was tired of work all by Tuesday.
Sounds about right. But how did you do with the weight loss? Because I know you kind of shocked everyone with that 13-pound gain, right?
Hey.
So
yes.
You told everyone not to panic. We didn't panic. So tell us how that went this week.
Lost 8 pounds this week, and if you are a 48-year-old out there, you know losing 8 pounds in 1 week is not easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
So back to 2,100 calories, lost 8 pounds. We're going to go ahead and run 2,100 calories again this week. Hopefully catch that 206.
What were you eating before? Were you at 2,100 before vacation?
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Right back to what I was eating.
Okay. I know you had some questions in the community post, like whether that's low for you or not. So tell us about that. Like, where do you think you are and whether or not that's low?
So 2,100, is pretty low. Mm-hmm. I've been leaning out for a long time. I don't even know how long. I was 220, I believe, when we started this, and I think I was at 3,500 calories when we started.
So that is a significant difference.
Yeah. So 2,100 is pretty low, but that's the way it goes when you're leaning out. You got to keep leaning out and keep cutting until you reach your goal.
Absolutely. So what's the goal?
Don't know yet.
We'll just keep cutting until you're there.
Yeah, I mean, I like the physique at 206. I could absolutely stop there, or at 205. Like I said, I'm going to keep going. I'm hungry, and I don't mind being hungry. It's just to the point of hurting. I'm not going to go to hurting unless I'm going to compete. And right now, I have no plans to compete. So if I can keep leaning out without getting to that point where I'm hurting, I will keep leaning out.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a pretty good week too. I lost 8.6 pounds. So I think there's just like a pound. I'm a pound over where I was before vacation. So pretty much lost all that vacation weight. So it was a really good week. With that in mind, I'm not going to change a single thing. I'm going to ride this out for at least another week and see how that goes. I definitely can tell that my metabolism has sped up. Especially with the amount of sleep I've required this week. Like, I mean, James is laughing just because I think I slept for like 12 hours the night before, took a 3-hour nap yesterday, and then slept for another 9 or 10 last night. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've been together, I don't know, probably 9 years altogether now, and I've never seen her sleep.
I needed it, man.
It was not sick and sleeping like that. I'm like, are you okay?
I was going hard. My metabolism was killing it all week, hence the 8.5 pound loss. So it was like, okay, we need a little break now.
I'm just going to watch the movie by myself while you snore. Okay.
He pretty much does that anyway, because I like to, look at my phone while I'm watching a movie, but that's besides the point.
True.
So today we're going to get into why you're not losing weight and how to fix it. This is also going to be kind of the end cap for our 6-week summer shred. And for
1 more week.
Well, for those still in the contest, don't worry about that. But we're still going to go with the contest another couple weeks. And then we've got one last week of content for you guys dropping this week. So I'm excited about that.
Yes. One more update.
Oh.
We messed up last week. We told you it was the shopping haul. Well, that's this week. That wasn't last week. We did tracking mistakes this week.
Yes.
It gets a little confusing with the calendar. We switched everything up. So we're catching up to speed as well with it as well. So this week will be the shopping haul.
There you go. Sounds good. But thanks for tuning in. Like, James points out in our videos, we always have a topic, but you are able to ask us any questions you have, any topic. Just drop a comment in the DM section and we'll answer it if we can.
100%. Aileen Dawn, what's up, Aileen? Welcome back. He says I'm down another 2 pounds this week. 12 pounds so far. Way to go, Aileen. You're killing it,
He's
brother.
like, trying to get that championship belt. That's right.
All right. Heck yeah. Dave and Buster, good morning, 8. I'm on vacation doing maintenance in the hotel room, using 30% of my max weight on adjustable dumbbells.
I love it.
That's fantastic. Dave and Buster, did you pack those dumbbells? Because
Yeah.
that's even better, baby. That's fantastic.
And Dave and Buster, we have an entire hotel gym series that you can check out if you're, struggling to come up with the exercises and whatnot.
Aileen wants a trophy. Maybe we can make that happen.
Love it, guys. Love it. Thanks for tuning in today. So today we're going to talk a little bit deeper into some of the videos that dropped this previous week, which were really on how do you track your macros, how do you make smart adjustments when you stall out, especially when you're doing some type of summer shred where you don't have a lot of time.
Fake foods.
Mm-hmm. So just a reminder, if you really love the content that you're seeing, you always have the option for super thanks. It helps us keep producing awesome content for you guys, and we absolutely appreciate you. So getting back into this week's recaps, we talked about healthy foods that weren't so healthy. Hopefully there was some surprises there for you guys. I know we talked about things like orange juice and granola. We also had another short on tracking mistakes using your food scales and measuring cups and stuff. And so we'll talk a lot deeper today on all of that as well. The goal today is to really fine tune your plans and help you get those results through smarter tracking and tweaks. So you ready to get into it, I guess?
Let's do it. And once again, if you have questions that aren't on what we're talking about, it's okay. Fire away. That's why we're here. That's why we're live, baby.
Absolutely. So let's get into just tracking macros correctly to start with. Hopefully, if you've been watching our channel by now and you're going into the summer shred, like you are, hopefully counting your macros correctly. To break it down, you have protein, carbs, and fats, and they all have different amount of calories associated with them, right? So 1 gram of protein is going to be 4 calories, same with the carbs, whereas the fat's a little different. It's 9 calories per gram of fat. So that tells you right there that you do need to be a little careful with how much fat's actually in your diet.
It's heavy in calories.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is on. He says, good morning. I'm on a car listening and heading to John Wick ballerina movie. Outstanding.
Yeah,
welcome back, Chris. Thanks for tuning in, baby.
You'll have to let us know how that is. I'm excited for the new John Wick video for sure.
I like the John Wick series. I'm definitely going to catch that one when it comes out on Netflix or whatever it is. All right, Vino. Need a scale to properly track calories.
Absolutely.
You beat us to it, Vino. Well said.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about that. You absolutely need a food scale. A lot of people are reluctant, but it's really eye-opening once you start measuring your food.
You're guessing.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a scale, you're guessing. And if you're guessing, you're not accurate.
Yeah, a lot of times what surprises me is like the serving size of steak. Like, you go to the restaurants and you're accustomed to seeing that portion size and you're like, all right, a steak like this must be like 4 ounces, right? Like, no, they're giving you like a 16-ounce steak, which if you're doing the math and the macros, it's just way too much fat to eat in a single sitting. So gotta be careful.
Yeah, serving size huge. We pointed out the peanut butter cream pies. It's a cookie, y'all. It's literally a cookie. 1/5 is the serving size.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's cutting that cookie into fists. Trust me on that.
I think we realized this. We were like on vacation or something, and the kid picked them out, or James picked them out. I don't know. And we were just eating that, and then one of us looked at the back and was like, 540 calories or whatever for this cookie. And then we start looking at the serving size, and we're like, wait a minute, it says 1/5. Like,
it's 540 calories for 1/5 of that cookie.
No, that's for the whole cookie, but. Yeah, but you get the point. Like, you think you're just eating a couple hundred calories. You're not, because you're eating the whole cookie.
Yeah, same thing with the steaks. Listen, if you go to restaurants, you're not going to get the serving size. I mean, Americans, 60% obesity rate. If you're going out to eat in America, you're not going to get the serving size. You better get a box and you better take half of it home, because they're going to give you way more than what the serving size is.
Yeah, one of my automatic things is when I get my steak is I cut it in half and like put it off to the side of my plate, or ask for a to-go box right away and box up what I don't plan to eat, so it's not sitting there and I'm not able to eat it.
Aileen said, even cutting down my egg yolks, only 2
yeah.
per day now. My man's getting the egg whites on.
Dialing it in.
Way to go, Aileen. That's great.
I mean, for the calorie to protein ratio, egg whites are killer, y'all. So if you need to add more protein to your diet, or you need to cut, the calories out, but still hit those protein numbers, eating egg whites is like a really great strategy.
The yolks aren't necessarily bad. They have a lot of good stuff in them, but they're loaded with fat. So if you need to cut the calories, take the yolks out, yo.
Yeah. And hopefully you guys learn from listening to our channel too, that all 3 macros are important, right? We need the protein so we can retain the muscle. That was like paramount in the summer shred, is that we didn't want to just get rid of the body fat and chew through some of that muscle. We wanted to retain as much muscle mass as possible.
Yep.
So keeping the protein high is going to be a must. We talked a lot about carbs and how they're important for performance, glycogen, without it, you're not able to lift with intensity. And that was like our number 1 thing that we've been talking about week to week, is like, you have to keep the intensity high to preserve the muscle.
And then fat.
Yeah. And then fat, essential for hormone production. If you want to lose weight, you have to have fat in your diet. You can't pull it out. So
yes. And I'm going to quote Mike Mensa, just eat a healthy amount, use your calories, and eat it all. Don't cut carbs out of your diet unless you have to, and you shouldn't have to, y'all.
Absolutely. In terms of some common mistakes when it comes to macros, hopefully you guys saw our short talking about the tracking of net carbs. This has become a crazy sensation, at least here in the United States.
It's a marketing scam is what it is. Ivino says too many people still believe the carbs are bad. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
carbs are not bad.
If you overconsume any macronutrient, you're going to gain weight. It doesn't matter whether it's protein, carbs, or fat. If you overeat any one of them in particular, you're going to lose, gain weight. So
if your body doesn't use it, it goes to waste or it turns to fat. Keep that in mind. Doesn't matter if it's carb, fat, or protein. And carbs are not evil. As much as that's preached, carbs are not evil.
Yeah, but going back to net carbs, like net carbs does not equal consistent fat loss, y'all. Hopefully you watched the video where we talked about it. What companies are doing is they're advertising carb-based products as low carb because they're calling them net carbs, where they're subtracting out the dietary fiber from the amount of carbs to get you like a lower carb number.
Yes.
And
it should be illegal, yo. And most people don't even know that protein's 4 calories, carbs is 4 calories, 9 is 4 calories. So even if they look at this and they try to do the math and figure out the calories, it's not gonna click. That's why it should be illegal, because most of these people have no clue. But if you do the math on the back of the label and then look at the front and say the calories don't match, it's because they're subtracting the fiber out of the carbs, which is complete baloney.
Yeah, I can't believe they do that. I mean, we had a favorite brand of tortilla that we talked about in the video, and we still love the brand. We still buy the brand, but now we're educated, right? So when I'm putting that into MyFitnessPal, I need to look at it as, yes, the calories it's saying are wrong, right?
The real amount of calories.
Yeah, you got to put in. So usually MyFitnessPal will put the macros in right, even though, unless you have the net carb setting on. If you have the net carb setting turned on, turn that off. We do not want to track by net carbs. So let me say that first. So the second thing is that if the product's advertising the calories incorrectly, the actual macronutrients are listed correctly, and MyFitnessPal will track them correctly, but the calories are off. And so that's something that I talk about with my clients. MyFitnessPal is either great for counting macros or calories, but not both. So if you have to pick one to track your macros, make your macros match, and don't worry about what the calories say for MyFitnessPal.
All right, Angel's back. Welcome back, Angel. Say good morning, hey, good morning, sir. We'd love to see you back. Daytona 392, all this talk about carbs is making me hungry.
Us too. It's lunchtime here.
That might be where the evil comes from. Carbs taste so good. You just want to keep eating. That's why carbs got a bad rep, right? Vino says the carbs are carbs. Net carbs is a scam. Yes, it is. 100%. It should be illegal. I don't know why they let them do that, but it is a scam. Aileen, just buy. If too much stuff on the label, it's way too processed anyway. You got it. Just don't buy. Excuse me.
Me and Aileen had a whole conversation about like all the processed foods and just, you know, sticking to the basics were better for you anyway in one of the videos.
Yes, and Vino followed up from a calorie standpoint. You are 100% correct. It is a scam. It's a marketing scam to get you to buy something that you think is diet when it's not.
Right. So remember what I said. If you're using the food tracking apps, track by your macros. Don't track by calorie count. Track by macros, and it will be accurate for you. It will not subtract that out as long as you don't have that setting set.
You shouldn't have that setting.
Yeah, definitely not. You know, another thing that gets confusing is like serving size and portion size. Like we talked a little bit about that with like the steaks. You know, food labels have gotten a lot better, you guys. Like the FDA does mandate that the companies say realistic portion sizes, but you know, what's realistic to me might not be realistic to James. And so there's some leeway there.
It's a subjective term there. Yeah. What's a realistic serving size?
Right. So make sure you're not, you know, bamboozled by whatever you instantly read on there. Like take the time to actually scan the label. Make sure you're not, you know, eating multiple servings of whatever it may be. You know, one of the ones that surprised me, even just this past weekend, was hummus, right? Like I really love eating hummus with like vegetables and different things. And I was looking at it and it was like serving size, 2 tablespoons, 80 calories. I was like, oh, well, how many servings is this like tub of it, right? Yeah. It was like 9. And I was like, get out of here. Like this wouldn't feed like 9 people.
Listen, y'all, while we were on vacation, we ordered hummus twice. And they brought a bowl of hummus out. I don't know.
Okay, it was not that
this big. And it was piled up with hummus. It was delicious. We loved it. We ate every bit of it because we're on vacation. But if it was a serving size, it literally would have been 2 tablespoons.
Yeah. So that's just like wild, right? With the serving size. So it's very misleading, especially if you go out to eat somewhere, which I think that's the fun part about tracking, like day to day. You have more awareness when you go to restaurants and they're giving you food. So even if you don't bring your food scale, you know, you're able to like intuitively understand.
True. I mean, as soon as they brought that hummus out, we both went, whoa, all right, let's dig in.
For sure, for sure. But you certainly can, you know, bring your own food scales. I actually have a really cool product that I just recently got. It is a very compact kitchen scale. So this thing just kind of folds out. You know, you can set your plate on it. You can change the units, all that. I mean, this thing weighs nothing, fits in a purse or bag, a pocket, whatever. Mm-hmm. So you absolutely can take it to the restaurant if you want to and measure your food.
So this one's actually designed to take to the restaurant because you can fit it in your purse.
Yeah, versus the like,
this is the home scale here. That's the one we use at home to weigh out our food. So even at home, we're weighing out the steaks, y'all. Like she said, that full steak is way too big of a serving size. So we're going to cut it, weigh it, make sure we got the correct serving size on steak, not only at the restaurant, but at home as well.
So, and you better believe if I'm doing a summer shred or I'm getting ready for a show, I'm not embarrassed. I will whip this out of the purse and set it on the table at the restaurant and measure my food because I have to, right? Like I don't have the flexibility to be wrong and miss a week. So yeah, if you want this, we'll toss a link up for you in the description of the video. Pretty cool $20 gadget for sure.
Aileen said, make your own hummus. So easy. It's just smashed chickpeas, I believe, and then whatever flavor you want to put in it.
Yeah.
Chris said, I need one.
Yeah.
This could be very convenient. It's going to save a lot of people, and you could still go out to eat when you're on a diet. Just realize you're going to be taking some home.
Yeah, I think I might actually order a second one so I can take it to work because sometimes there's things at work, like if I didn't bring it, but I want to eat it, I still want to be able to measure it. So this, get another one there.
Aileen said wifey's birthday yesterday, so the cheesecake was good.
Oh, I bet. Well, you definitely got your dose of fat and sugar and all that good stuff.
And you still lost 2 pounds. Congrats, man. I know you had to
that's
plan
impressive.
something in there to eat it. Either you cut calories somewhere or you added some more workouts in there somewhere in order to lose 2 pounds while still eating that cheesecake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good job, Aileen.
All right. Some of our videos this week talked about mistakes with the food scale. You know, you want to make sure that you're hit and tear in between, like measuring different things. It can get cumbersome if you're making like very complicated recipes, like a casserole. You're going to have to measure each individual ingredient and then log them separately to get the total and divide back out. So it can get complicated really quick, you guys.
Yep. Aileen followed up. He said no lunch.
All
So he sacrificed his lunch in order to have a piece of cheesecake.
It's a good compromise.
Completely legitimate. I had a client once who wanted the pumpkin latte from Starbucks. I said, you're more than welcome to have it. You just got to cut food somewhere else and make it fit your macros. And he did. And he did it twice. And I asked him if it was worth it. The first time he said yes. The second time he said no.
Yeah.
So after the second time, he went back to eating food. He forgot about that pumpkin latte or whatever he was drinking from Starbucks.
That's funny.
Daytona 392, what's your take on intermittent fasting?
I don't know if I have an opinion on it. I think it works for some people and doesn't work for some people. And I'm not sure that it's the intermittent fasting itself, but I kind of feel like if trying intermittent fasting helps you stay consistent and accountable, then go for it.
So here's my take on intermittent fasting. It 100% works. Most people do it wrong. It goes back to, back when we were in caves and we didn't eat every day. This is the ideology of intermittent fasting. You're not going to eat every day. So you eat one time a day, you eat once every other day, but you eat a feast. Most of the time people have trouble eating all the food they're supposed to eat because you only eat once a day or once every other day. I've never really gotten into it too much, to be honest with you. The times I have tried it, it did work, and it's extremely easy.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't eat all day. I mean, and I didn't have a problem with it because I eat very little throughout the day anyway, and then I eat a big dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it was extremely easy. I didn't have to pack a lunch. I didn't have to prep a lunch. I didn't have to bring food to work. It was easy. Matter of fact, I might go back to it. It was so easy. And then you just mash dinner. It's convenient and it's easy and it works. So,
well, there's different ways to do it.
And there is plenty of different ways to do it. People, do a 6-hour intermittent fast, and I'm like, that's not long enough. Dude.
Yeah,
come on, get real.
So my issue is, like, I've had clients that try this and just like the mental, like end up getting brain fog or something. They just mentally can't like function anymore doing this. And at that point I'm saying, you know what, just eat regularly, right? Or the other thing I'll see is that they fast all day and then they can kind of eat whatever at dinner, but now they can't stop. Like they just over consume or they're eating the wrong things, which isn't going to work. Right. So, you
have to stick to your food, the food you're supposed to eat.
I think it takes a certain kind of mindset and discipline of a person to be able to make that work. And so if that doesn't work with how you function, then maybe not for you. So.
True. I also had a very sedentary job. So at the time I was intermittent fasting, I didn't have a physical job. I now have a physical job, so I'm not so sure it would work or be so easy because I might be dragging because I need those calories to get me through the physical work. So I might try it again and give you a follow-up.
Yeah.
Daytona. Great question, man.
Absolutely.
Angel said, I've been having trouble with my front delt. I can't push, but I can pull. I'm getting an MRI this week to find out what's going on. Have you ever heard this kind of issue? Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm.
Shoulders are finicky, Angel. I hope it works out for you. We'll be praying for you as well as Native Grit. He's got health issues going on as well.
I got some shoulder thing going on too. It sounds kind of similar. There's certain things I can do and others I can't. So, work around it for now. Be careful.
The MRI is already scheduled, so you're doing the right thing. I'm going to guess here and say it's a labrum tear, but it could be a rotator cuff. It could be bursitis. I mean, shoulders are finicky, man. They got so many things wrong with them. Aileen says, I'd rather do carb cycling.
It's another great strategy that you can try. Absolutely. I've definitely done carb cycling.
You'd rather do that than intermittent fasting. Okay. And I'll tell you what, carb cycling does work because
Absolutely.
we've
We
done
both
it
tried
many
it.
times, and we've had our clients do it many times as well. Daytona 392, I did it, dropped down to 190, but I lost several pounds of lean muscle. Uh-oh, we don't want that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's intermittent fasting, so that's a follow-up from Daytona. Okay. Maybe I didn't do it long enough. I didn't lose any muscle when I did it.
Yeah.
But believe me, I didn't do it long. Maybe 4 or 5 days, and then I went back to eating during the day. But yeah.
Yeah. Great questions and comments, you guys. Keep them coming for sure. One thing with the measuring of the food that we talked about in the video is whether you should measure cooked weight or raw weight for your food.
Great question.
Yeah, it's a great question. We get it quite a bit. The technical answer is the raw weight. So your raw chicken breast, your raw steak, which is easy to do if it's a singular protein. Again, once you start making very complicated dishes, that becomes extremely hard to do, especially if you're having to split it up into a bunch of different serving sizes or partition it.
So if you all saw the kebabs, they were just chicken. That's the reason why. She didn't want to weigh out the different proteins, which is fine. And they were fantastic. So
absolutely. So for me, this is just like Camille Houston's opinion. I always measure cooked weight. Like I get it that is off, that, you know, you have some of that volume cooks out because the water cooks off in the food. So I'm probably eating more than the serving size. But I will tell you, if you always measure this way, it won't matter because you're really just reducing calories and things week to week to week. But you can't go back and forth. You can't be like, well, I'm eating a steak today. That's easy. I'll measure raw steak. You have to measure the exact way every single time for everything.
Pick one way and stick with it.
But in my opinion, this is easier for myself to do. My clients find it easier to do. So that's what I typically recommend to them. Have you seen any different? Do you recommend the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of gross putting raw meat on your scale too. So, and if you know anything about cooking, you really don't want to cut your protein before you cook it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's where it's like hard, right? Because you're like trying to do this conversion. You got like the salmon sitting there. You've got raw salmon on your scale, and then you're like, okay, well, based on this raw weight, it's gonna serve like 4 people, and then you're like, all right, I gotta go back and toss my cooked salmon on the scale. Now it's less. Let me divide that by 4. Okay. There's a lot of math. If you don't like math, you're not going to want to do all of those calculations there to figure it back out.
Aileen's take. Aileen says, measure protein cooked, carbs raw.
Interesting.
Danique's on. Welcome back, Danique. Double pro carb winner, Danique. I wrap my scale in plastic wrap before weighing raw protein.
Yeah,
great tip. Great tip, Danique. That keeps it from getting gross. All right. Great tip.
Aileen's got a point a little bit, and it does complicate things. And the one in particular I'm thinking about is like rice. When you cook it, like I always measure out how many, like if I'm cooking, I want 10 servings of rice, I will take the raw rice and measure out the raw rice. And then I will do the math backwards once it's cooked to figure out how many 10 servings of rice is. And that's just because that one you could go way wrong with, and you're not going to get as much rice if you kind of do it that way. So in my opinion, that one might make sense to do it that way.
Yes, I'm very lucky to have her as a wife, and she does all those calculations for me. Being married to an engineer does have its benefits. Wintertime, what's up, Wintertime? Hey. Welcome back. He said, hey, y'all, great subject. Thanks for tuning in, Wintertime.
Awesome. So yeah, those are the main things. One other last point, you know, when you have an option between measuring cup and food scale, I would go food scale, you guys. There's a lot of measuring error when it comes to measuring cups. They're really better for things where you're trying to get a volume of something. So your semi-liquids or your liquids. But in general, I would shy away from measuring cup and just use the food scale where you can measure grams and ounces.
There's a lot of variables in that measuring cup, and the hungrier you are, you just kind of try to pack more in there.
Yeah, I'd be like packing my rice, doing CPR on it to get more rice, right?
So weighing it is more accurate. You know, you scoop and it's a light, fluffy scoop, but then you just keep packing it down so you can fit more into that measuring cup, just so you can eat more because you're hungry, right?
Yeah.
So,
but if that's all you have, then it's better than just eyeballing it and guessing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing.
For
Absolutely.
Sure. All right. So we also had some videos on hidden calories in healthy foods.
Fake healthy foods.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about orange juice and how that's a complete sugar bomb. There's a little bit of pushback on that one, actually.
There was.
Do you remember the comment?
We got a couple comments saying juice isn't bad, just buy the no added sugar. But what we had in the video was the no added sugar, and it had 33 grams of sucrose, not fructose, y'all. That's sugar added. That is sugar they put into their formula.
I wonder how they get away with writing no sugar added to the label then. It's
No
interesting.
Clue. No clue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will give you a hashtag if you're juicing and you got your fruit and you're putting it in your juicer and you're not adding any sugar to that, okay. That can be a very healthy alternative. But if you're buying juice from the store, bottled juice, it's crap.
Yeah.
Complete crap.
I would agree with that.
Almost everybody's fooled thinking it's healthy. There's vitamins in it. Yes, yes, yes. But they put so much sugar in that stuff. It's disgusting. Don't drink it. It is bad. It's the number one cause for childhood diabetes. And so many people get fooled by this juice. I got comments saying, hey, what were you talking about? Juice is great. Don't buy the added sugar. That was the no added sugar.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
So don't buy juice from the store. It is not good. There's nothing good about it. If you want juice, make your own.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that. If
Absolutely.
you're juicing at home and you're making your own, it's healthy, and I'll give you that. But if you're buying juice from the store, you're messing up.
Yeah, and if you ever check out 88 Health and Wellness, which is led by my sister-in-law, Patricia Coates, she does a lot of her own juicing, which we get to reap the benefits of because she does bring us juice all the time that she home makes for different purposes. So.
Yeah, we had celery juice this week, and it was excellent.
It was not excellent, y'all. It was not. It just it tasted like celery.
All right, Aileen said I even weigh my protein powder. Fantastic, because once again, you can slam that and push that protein into that scoop and try to get more than what you're supposed to get. Good job, Aileen. Yeah. Becky says, hi, everyone. I'm late. Becky. We'll have to catch up on the replay. Welcome, Becky. Thanks for tuning in late. Wintertime, what do you think of the sugar diet?
What is the sugar diet?
I just woke up, so apologies if you discussed this already. We have not, and I have not heard of the sugar diet.
Instantly, when you say that, I just think inflammation. So, like, what is the sugar diet?
I did get a comment of something about a sugar diet, and I asked the dude what he was talking about because I haven't heard of it, and he didn't follow up. So, wintertime, what is the sugar diet? Chris says, yep, no added is marketing scam too. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Yes,
read the label, y'all.
Aileen says, just make iced tea. That's a great option.
Iced
if you're not putting sugar in your iced tea, that is a wonderful option. Tea is a very healthy option to drink.
Yeah, speaking of drinks, so my son-in-law left this at our house, the Dr. Pepper. It's probably not going to get drank until he comes back, which he won't be back for a while, so it's probably going to get thrown out. But this one little Dr. Pepper has 240 calories. Can you guys guess how much sugar is in this thing? Can you
44.
Guess? No, it has 65 grams of sugar.
Oh my goodness.
So we're talking about orange juice being bad. This little thing, terrible.
Listen, if you're an 88er, you're not drinking soda anyway. That stuff's just junk. You don't need it. Stay away from it. Aileen said 24 grams. Way low, Aileen. So was I, buddy.
I mean, at least they say it's one serving, right? Because if you started saying this was like 5 servings of soda, I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Just completely stay away from soda. You know, I haven't had a soda in I don't know how long.
Yeah, I mean, definitely don't buy it and bring it into your house. If that's something that you do enjoy, save it for when you go out to eat, assuming that that is not every day, then it's few and far between for sure. So yeah, you know, we talked a lot about granola. You know, people think granola is healthy, but again, it's loaded with sugar, and the serving size, I think it was like what, a quarter cup.
Quarter cup.
Like no one's eating a quarter cup of that. So
Granola's candy, yo. I hate to break it to you, but granola's candy. Even the protein granola. There's so much sugar in it, it's candy. Big T's on. Welcome back, Terrence.
Yeah, and your different types of nut mixes, you have to look. We were actually at the grocery store and we were looking because especially if you get the nuts with the candy M&Ms and things in them, there's a lot of sugar. You probably shouldn't be feeding that to your kids either. Even the other ones that have like dried fruits in them, they're still adding sugar to that. So you got to be careful.
Okay, wintertime followed up. He said, I just discovered this week. There are videos out there eating high sugar foods all day and protein at night. It's gaining traction. Okay, so the theory is you're going to burn those sugar and the glycogen off before dinner, and then you just have protein at dinner. I think that's what's going on here. Would that work? Depends on the calorie of the high sugar food you're eating.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's calories in, calories out.
Right. Are we talking about bananas or are we talking about, cupcakes? Because they're
let's assume they're healthy sugars.
They're both high in sugar, but they're two different sugars, sucrose and fructose.
Yeah.
I think you could do better than that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very balanced. Anything extreme, y'all, like whether it's like the Atkins diet or, the carnivore diet or anything extreme is just probably not good for you, especially long term. Mm-hmm. Like, can anything work short term? Sure. You can probably make anything work, but
right. And once again, it's just less calories, just like all the other diets, Atkins, keto, vegan. You're just eating less calories than you were. That's why they work. Mm-hmm. Upsana says, what things should I totally avoid if I want to lose weight except sugar? Soda, Upsana. Stay away from soda. Empty calories is the only thing I would say completely cut out. You can enjoy carbs, protein, fats, fruits, veggies. Mm-hmm. As long as they fit your calories and fit your macros, just stay away from empty calories. There's no point, right?
Yeah, like it's kind of funny that I actually have a candy dish at work because I don't eat any of the candy out of the dish. But man, I've got people come to the office like all day long just eating like little fun-sized Snicker bars. It's like, those are empty calories. They don't serve a purpose. Like, you're going to be left hungry at the end of the day if your diet is consumed with like bags of chips and candy bars and sodas and things.
If you were blessed enough to be around in the 90s, there was a Body for Life book that came out, and it basically says eat for function. Mm-hmm. Your body needs the nutrients. It doesn't need empty calories.
Right.
Empty calories will just blow you up and make you feel sluggish and tired when you can eat the calories with nutritious food and refeed your body what it needs.
And it can be hard, especially like at work. People are always bringing donuts and cupcakes and cookies. And I mean, my people like to bring charcuterie boards and like hummus and vegetables in because,
Not my people. They're bringing donuts in 4 times out of 5.
Yeah.
And these are homemade, not Dunkin' Donuts, homemade donuts from the bakery, man. I look at them all day and just
the
shake
smell would get me. Like,
all right, wintertime followed up. People losing weight on it sounds crazy. It does.
Yeah.
They're talking about fruit juices, candy, sugar. I don't think I could do it. Yeah, that's just empty calories. We can do better than that.
Maybe we'll do a reaction video. We'll watch do a reaction video for you guys on that.
Yeah, and once again, they're just eating less calories. If they're doing fruit juice and candy and losing weight, they were eating, pasta and burgers and tacos beforehand, All right, Big T says down 2.5 pounds this week. Lost a total of 10 pounds since being on the shred. Way to go, T!
Yes.
Keep it up, baby. That contest is coming close. How much is Aileen down? I think he's down 12.
I don't know, quite a bit.
That's close, T. You're close with Aileen, baby. Who's getting the trophy?
Come on, Chris. You got to give him a run for your money.
Chris T, that's right. Chris was down 8, I think, last time you checked it. All right, Upsana, thank you for answering my question. Appreciate it. No problem. Upsana, we're here to help.
Oh, see, Eileen's
12.
at 12.
You're right behind him, Big T. You're right behind him.
Yeah, Chris, where are you at? Type that in there.
If you're still
on. If you're still on. And the last thing that the food labels don't want you to know is that sometimes when the amount of sugar is low enough, they round down. So if it's like a 0.5 gram of sugar, they're going to round down. You start seeing that less than 1 gram, there's still sugar, and it could be a half gram or even slightly higher. So keep that in mind.
Yep.
Yeah. Gotta invest in new pants. Waist has shrunken a few inches. That's good. Big
Way
T.
to go, T. Way to go, baby. That's a good investment. It's investment in how you look and in your health, baby.
Absolutely. I dropped a pant size 2, Big T. So I'm a competitive bodybuilder. I have the full gambit of sizes in my closet from like 2 to 10. And so, yeah, apparently I don't have a lot of this particular size. So yeah, I got to go ahead and drop another size down so I have clothes to wear.
This is good stuff, y'all. This is good stuff. Wintertime, you two are inspiration. Watch you all the time. Thank you, Wintertime. We very much appreciate that, brother. We started this channel to help people. So when we get feedback like that, we very much appreciate it. It confirms what we wanted to do and why we started this channel. Thank you for watching, Wintertime.
Absolutely. And if there's other topics and things that you guys want to see, like definitely drop us a comment. We, love to customize some of the content for you guys.
Yep.
All right. So let's get into how to track your progress, because that was a major video that we dropped this past Wednesday on how do you track progress? How do you know when it's time to change your macros or your cardio?
Big T said, been using Yosemite green tea stack past few weeks. Works great. I know green tea, brother. That's on all the fat burners, every one of them.
Yeah, hemp beans on a lot of them too. Like you don't notice it, but if you look at all of your like pre-workouts and your fat burners, they usually have that one in there too. So sounds good. All right. So there's different ways to track your progress. Most people are probably going to use a scale weight, right? We talked about be careful weighing yourself day to day because your weight's going to fluctuate. I think even Chris had mentioned something this week, like the up and down of the water weight and all that. So if you do weigh day to day, don't get discouraged. Remember that it's going to fluctuate. So ideally, I recommend picking 1 day a week, whether that's a Friday, a Saturday, Monday, whatever day works for you. And then that's your check-in day, that the weight actually matters. So, and I've got different strategies for clients. I have some clients that kill it all week, Monday through Friday, eat on plan, and then the weekend, it just unravels.
It gets most people, it's a weekend.
So if this is you, make your weigh-in day Monday morning. Make your weigh-in day Monday morning because you can't go off the rails. You have to make weight Monday. So, because there's a lot of flexibility. If your weigh-in days say Saturday morning, well, you got all day Saturday, all day Sunday, all week long to like go wrong and catch back up, right? So if you want to hold yourself accountable, Monday morning's probably like the hardest one.
Yes. And Chris followed up. I'm making slow progress, but actual weight to lose. But I don't think I have a lot of weight to lose. Okay, he's already lean. I think I sent in a weight around 170 yesterday. I was 163. Fantastic.
Very nice.
That's how many pounds? 7 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a lot, Chris. Don't think that's not a lot. That's fantastic, brother. That is awesome. Aileen says I take a picture. You beat me to it, Aileen. Listen, when I have clients who are, online who I don't see, you're gonna send me your weight, but you're also gonna send me a picture.
Yes, and from the same place, in the same outfit, with the same light, from the same angle.
Same time. Yes. All that. And yes, the picture does tell a different story because you can lean out without the scale moving.
Yeah, in fact, for a lot of my clients, I say pick the spot and put like some tape on the floor in an X because I want you to take it from that exact spot. Like as your coaches, we are looking for like the most minute detail sometimes. And so if you take the picture from a completely different spot, it looks completely different, y'all. So just keep that in mind.
Thanks for tuning in, Chris. He's heading into the movie.
All right. Enjoy that John Wick movie. It's going to be good.
I'm a little bit jealous.
I know. So yeah, definitely the place that you take the progress pics absolutely matters. What you're wearing absolutely matters. The lighting, the angles.
Camille had a client a long time ago get pumped up and put oil on before her check-in photos. I mean, God bless her. She's a bodybuilder. She's in it. But don't do that, y'all. Just take it from the same spot every time. Use the bathroom. You don't need to put makeup on. You don't need to do nothing. Just do it the same way.
I mean, I think we talked about this for the scale weight and the photos. Like, this isn't Biggest Loser.
Right.
You don't need to sit in the sauna for an hour, hit your full hour cardio, and then weigh in. Like, we need an authentic, real weight. So wake up, void, get your weight, get your photo at the same time.
Yes.
Let's see. Terrence says, feeling the effects from the shred and calorie deficit, energy feeling a little low and feeling hungry.
That can happen, brother. That can definitely happen. Calories are a unit of energy. So when you cut calories, you cutting energy.
In fact, feeling hungry is a good sign that things are working. If you are cutting calories and doing all the things and you're not feeling hungry, something might be amiss, especially if you're not losing weight.
Yeah.
So that means your metabolism might have slowed down because you're at that deficit. So
yeah. And I don't know if you were on earlier, T, but I said, I don't mind being hungry. It's the point where you're hurting that I mind.
Like you can't fall asleep kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. You just hurting. Your stomach hurts, your belly button's kissing your spine, you're too hungry to sleep, you can't really think, you got brain fog, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to go do that unless I'm competing. So I don't mind being hungry. I hope you don't mind being hungry, Big T, but being hurting is a different story.
I mean, I think that's all relative. I think a lot of clients come to me, they're in small deficit and, they're hungry and I believe them, but they're not hungry the way like a competitive athlete is hungry near stage weight. And so that is hard to help guide people through sometimes when they're feeling that way.
It is. And if they've never been through it and never felt the feeling of being hungry, because if you're in North America, you highly doubt you are hungry. Unless it's self-inflicted. So I wrestled, as a child. So I knew all about being hungry and cutting weight. So going into bodybuilding just keeps it going. So, if you've never been through it, the feeling of hungry is going to be foreign to you. Just be ready for it. Aileen said, when in a deficit, I eat more often to beat the hunger. Good tip. Split your meals up so you're eating more often. That's good tip.
Yeah, it's a great tip. Another way to track your progress is using a tape measure, like your waist, your hips, your thighs, etc. I guess you could do this week to week. That becomes a lot, but at least
I do it once a month.
Yeah, at least once a month. That's a good indicator. Again, especially if you're trying to make sure you're retaining size, you're going to want all of the tools in the toolbox to assess that, right? You're going to want the scale weights, the visual photos to look at, as well as the tape measure to figure out what's going on. And just realize as you lose body fat, your biceps not going to be the same size, right? It's going to get smaller proportionally. So you really just need to visually look at the photos and see if you're, happy with it.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, y'all. If you got a 20-inch arm, but it looks like a hot dog, that's not a 20-inch arm. You got a fat arm.
Yeah.
If you can't see any separation between your bicep and your tricep, it's a fat arm. I don't care what it measures. You're measuring fat at that point. Danique says the scale is a devil.
It's a very fickle tool. I mean, you might be laying in bed, like James said, belly button kissing spine, you're so hungry and that thing goes up a couple pounds. So, it's not the end all be all. There's other methods to track your progress.
Nothing's going to beat the pictures and the videos. Just keep that in mind. They all use all the tools, but nothing is going to beat the pictures and the videos or checking in person. Nothing's going to beat that.
A lot of people see scale weight slowing down as failure. And a lot of times I have to put it back into perspective. It's like, well, what else has changed? Are your pants completely loose? Did you totally change your pant size? Well, then who cares what the scale is doing? You clearly have lost weight there.
Yeah, look at your physique. If you put muscle on, the scale's going to go up. And that's okay. We want muscle on.
Yeah. And remember, it is possible to gain muscle in a deficit. It's more related to the intensity of your lifting than anything. So I've seen clients do it in an extreme deficit. They've gained muscle. So the scale is irrelevant at that point. Look for the other signs of progress. Like, is your strength? Are you still PRing week to week to week to week? Well, then that's a good thing. So
what do you look like? If the scale went up and you look the same, guess what? You just put on muscle.
Right.
If the scale went up and you're leaner, You put on a whole lot of muscle, yeah.
So we actually did this because I'm a pound and a half up from the weight I was pre-vacation. And so in addition to like the photos I show you guys, I also take one in a posing suit, and James and I looked at it, and I actually had more separation through the quads and some of the back muscles. So, and that's a whole pound and a half up. So that's a good thing. We want that to happen.
Yep. Tina's on. Welcome back, Tina. She says, hey, church went late. No problem, Tina.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. This time I decided just track waist, hip, and photos.
Nice.
So you're just tracking your waist and hip measurements and photos. Great. And it's going much better as far as not stressing out about it.
That's good.
Fantastic. Way to go. If the scale stresses you out, throw it in the trash, man.
Yeah, Eileen has a good tip here. I like this one. Check if socks leave a mark.
Yep. Indicator
of inflammation. Yeah, that is true. You're definitely holding some water if you got those sock marks on your ankles after you take them off, for sure. And there's definitely days you can tell you should be in tune enough with your body, or at least I am at this point, where I'll say, yeah, I know the scale's not going to, play nice today because I feel the water that I'm holding. Mm-hmm. But don't use it as an excuse. Don't use it as an excuse.
And you also know when you blow up your diet and you go over your calories when you're not supposed to, guess what? Those socks are going to be tight the next day. And it's good. I mean, you blew up your calories when you weren't supposed to, so you should expect it. But if you're some kind of surprised, you got sock marks, it's either water or inflammation.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, on the day-to-day, your weight can fluctuate, anywhere from a pound to 3 pounds.
3 pounds.
Yeah, easy. And especially during the day, if you've ever measured yourself multiple times in one day, oh my gosh, you could go up like 5-6 pounds. So
do not weigh yourself more than once a day, yo.
Or at end of day.
Don't do that. 1 gallon of water is 8 pounds.
Yeah.
You should be drinking a gallon of water every day. So that scale is going to go up by 8 pounds. Yes, you're peeing it out during the day, but it's going to fluctuate somewhere in between 8 pounds because of that.
Yeah. So in general, let's say that your progress is stalled. You can tell by looking at the photos. You can tell from the tape measurements, the scale, whatever. If you're in a time jam, I wouldn't let this go more than 5 to 7 days. If you're not in a time jam, give yourself a couple weeks, maybe 10 to 14 days to really determine if you truly have stalled, because there can be a lot of other factors.
Yeah, if you've been watching my tracking, I'm in no rush. So we confirm to maintain before we change the calories. And I think 2 out of 3 times I lost weight, the second weight on the same calories, because it wasn't a true maintain.
Exactly. I have a lot of clients that I train too, and they'll be a couple days into their new macro set, whatever, and they're like, oh my God, nothing's happening. You think I should add an extra hour of cardio? I was like, no, I think you should hold the plan, and we'll determine that at the end of the week when we get to the 7-day mark.
Give the plan a chance to work.
Absolutely. So yeah, there's other, strategies to tighten up always. Like if you've been going into the shred and you're just eyeballing foods, well, too easy. Let's start, auditing how much food you're actually eating. Download that tracking app. So tighten it up,
Aileen's got a great question. Gonna cut creatine this week to dry more. Is it a good idea? You want to handle that?
I wouldn't, Aileen. Your muscles are mostly made up of water, and creatine forces the water into the cell. They make them look bigger. So I would not cut creatine out, actually.
So creatine puts water in your muscle cells, not your skin cells. So it actually makes your muscles look bigger and harder. The water in your skin cells makes you look watery and bloated. The creatine pushes the water into your muscle cells. So I would not cut the creatine out.
Yeah, I mean, no problem, unless you have a photo shoot or something of that nature, I wouldn't try water manipulation.
He's not. It's creatine.
Yeah. But it seems like a water manipulation thing because it's a way to dry out more. Yeah. So, yeah, unless you got a photo shoot or some kind of event you're planning, or you're a competitive athlete going to get on stage, there's no real need to dry out, so to speak. Stay hydrated. You want to keep those lifts, going strong, all that good stuff.
Now, if you want to do it to end the summer shred for your photos at the end of the summer shred, okay, do that. And yeah, it'll make your photos look better, but you don't want to be dehydrated unless you have to be.
Right. Absolutely. Some other tips for you guys, tighten up some of those higher calorie foods. If you're still putting creamer in your coffee, maybe it's time to like change that to almond milk or something a lot lower in fat or something like that. Creamers, condiments.
That's what Dave was doing, the 1,200 calorie creamer.
Yeah, so this was really funny. We have a friend. He thought he was making a great swap out. He wanted to get rid of creamer because he knew that's a high source of sugar and fat. And so he used condensed milk, thinking that that was a better option. And he was like gaining weight. So after a couple weeks, he like finally looks at the label and he's like, oh my gosh, it is worse than creamer. So yeah, I was like, hey buddy, switch it for the almond milk or the fat-free milk or something of that nature.
Yes. Aileen said no more peanut butter.
Weight gainer.
It's a good cut, man. I got a peanut butter problem, but man, is it smashed with calories. It's healthy fat, and we know fat has the most calories, so it is smashed with calories.
Y'all, I can't even like smell that peanut butter jar because I'm gaining a pound. Like peanut butter is straight weight gainer.
So yeah, we're right. When I'm bulking, we buy the jar of peanut butter because I can eat it then.
Yeah.
But right now, we can't do that because we're cutting, and I'm out of control if the peanut butter is in the house.
Yeah, if I want that peanut butter flavor, I'm eating PB2. At this point, it's the powdered peanut butter. It has significantly like 90% less fat. So it gives me the taste of peanut butter, but without all the extra calories.
I like what you said, weight gainer. So when I would want to gain weight, when I'm bulking, that's when I eat the peanut butter. Yeah.
Some other tips for you guys, like if you truly are stalled and you want to adjust your diet, go ahead and do that. Remember, you don't have to slash a significant amount of calories, like 50 to 100 for the females, 100 to 200 for the males. The smaller increment changes you can make, the better it's going to be for you, especially if you have a ways to go. But whatever you do, make sure you don't cut too much fat out of your diet. All the macros, cutting the fat out the diet is probably the worst if you're trying to lose body fat. Remember,
there's essential fats, there's essential proteins, there's not essential carbs. So if you're going to cut anything, cut carbs.
Yeah, see, Terrence confirmed it. PB2 is a great swap, 90% less fat. Yeah. Let's see. You want to make sure you're keeping your cardio consistent. I have a lot of clients who are like, well, yeah, I walked this week for an hour. This week I just did 15 minutes after my lifting sessions. It's like, it doesn't work that way. We need to, be pretty consistent and regimented with our cardio.
You want to make as little changes as you can. That way you know what works. If you make 15 changes in 1 week, how do you know what works?
Exactly.
Something's going to work out of the 15. But which one of the 15 worked?
Yeah, ideally, if you've got the time, you wouldn't necessarily change your macros and add cardio the same week. I get it. 6-week summer shred, you don't have a lot of time. You're probably adjusting both at the same time. But keep that in mind. If you've got the time to diet down, change one thing at a time, preferably.
Yep, as little as possible.
And then, if you need to, add cardio, add small increments, y'all, like maybe 10 minutes. That's usually what we do with our competitive athletes. If we need to, we'll add 10 minutes to their session to add it, add more time.
Think about it. If you're doing cardio 6 days a week and you added 10 minutes, you just added an hour of cardio.
And also keep in mind, as you ramp it up, you can't ramp it back down. You can't all of a sudden do less cardio.
That's why you make the small changes, because if you go up by a half hour, you're going to have to keep adding that time.
And I've made this mistake, you guys. So we're definitely speaking from a place of knowledge here. Like I've gone into some shows and I am doing 3.5 hours of cardio a day.
I remember that.
On top of lifting. So I still got to get my 5-day hour lifting sessions in, and then 3 hours. So like 4 hours plus at the gym every single day. It's just exhausting. So you don't want to get yourself in that situation. It's not healthy. It's not good for your joints. Talk about inflammation, like your whole body's inflamed at that point.
Yeah. So if it was today, we would have chalked it up and picked a later date. But
For show.
we were 100% set on that show. And we were going to hit it no matter what. So we went to extreme measures.
And what do you know? I sacrificed muscle that show.
Yeah,
I was completely over dieted, conditioning on point. Probably my best conditioning the entire time I've been competing. But did I sacrifice size? Absolutely. So
that was Savannah Pro. Right?
It was the Savannah Pro. Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah. So lesson learned. Yeah. We kind of learn from our mistakes though. So that's a good thing. And then, yeah, when needed, introduce a refeed of some kind. So it can be a cheat meal, a refeed day. If you've got a lot of time, maybe a diet break. So those are options for you.
Big T said I started throwing in HIIT cardio during the week
Nice.
for cardio to pick up the intensity. Outstanding, Big T.
That's a great way.
That's a great tip, man. 7 minutes of HIIT cardio equals 1 hour of soft cardio.
You know, in fact, I did have a client where I did dial back the cardio. So I'll kind of retract my statement. And it was because I added HIIT cardio instead for her.
Aileen says a donut.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. What you talk about, donut, Aileen?
I want to eat one. So yeah, there's different techniques. Like this past week, or when we were on vacation, I did a diet break. I ate at a surplus for several days and then went into maintain. So there's different strategies depending on what you want to do. A donut would be a great cheat meal. Absolutely. The key there is cheat meal. It's a single meal, preferably 8 within an hour. So I've had, some clients like, oh, it's my cheat meal. My husband was watching football, so I ate some football snacks. It's
like a 4-hour game.
I grazed. It's like, don't graze. No grazing. Single meal, while you're sitting there, eat it all. There you go. Anything else on refeeds, cheat meals? Most people don't need one.
That's good advice, Aileen. Mm-hmm. One.
Yeah.
There's going to be a dozen donuts because that's what everybody buys. Eat one.
Yeah. A lot of people don't actually need a cheat meal. They think they do. We've had competitors who are like, when do I get my first cheat meal? It's like, you don't need one. You're losing weight. You're losing 2 pounds a week plus. Like, we definitely don't need a cheat meal.
Well, when you talk about competition, you only get a cheat meal if you're ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ahead of the game, okay, relax, have a cheat meal.
Or if we need to spike that metabolism.
Or spike metabolism. Both, hand in hand. But most people don't get ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. They just lose what they lose that week, consistently do it over and over and over again. So rarely will you get a cheat meal in competition prep. I mean, if you do a good job, you're ahead of the game, or you shouldn't have got one.
Danique says, not allow one with my coach. Danique's got a killer coach. He is like old school bodybuilding and he is totally hardcore. So I can see that, Danique. I can see it. You
can't argue with the results, double pro card winner, Danique.
Uh-huh.
You definitely can't argue with the results. No cheat meals, and she won double pro card, y'all.
What I love about Danique's coach is, he really emphasizes eating good, clean, nutrient-dense foods, right? So, like, she's busy eating steaks and broccoli. And so, yeah, that's all good stuff, Danique.
Remember what I said earlier, no empty calories. Mm-hmm. So, if you're going to do a cheat meal and a donut, you better have some protein with it.
Absolutely. All right. So, yeah, I mean, real talk, we've had clients where they've cut out simple things, like they pick one bad habit or one thing to change in their diet and they can lose a significant amount of weight. Yes. I had a client, she lost 50 pounds and every week she came in and I said, what is one thing that we're going to change today? Week 1, it was like, hey, I'm getting rid of my coffee creamer. I'm going to swap it out for something more sustainable. Yeah. Like, bam, lost 5 pounds. Like, okay, what are we going to do this week? Well, I get bored at work and I snack on goldfish. I'm going to cut the goldfish snack out and bring some carrot sticks. Yeah. Boom, lost 5 pounds.
I had a guy lose 30 pounds. All he did was cut soda out of his diet. Mm-hmm. Literally. That's all he did was cut soda. I mean, he was drinking 2 liters a day, which is ridiculous amount of soda, but he cut that out and lost literally 30 pounds quickly, like 3 weeks, mm-hmm. which is insane as well.
Absolutely. I've had other clients, maybe they're a little further along, kind of like you guys listening in their summer shred. This client cut oils out and condiments. Like, they were eating a ton of condiments and not counting them. So by counting those condiments and the cooking oils, able to lose a significant amount of weight.
Yep. Tina says, eat the donut after you eat a large clean meal. Eat it for dessert. Very good.
I like that.
And then you're not hungry for another one because you're already full from your meal. Great tip, Tina. Aileen said, but seriously, my cheat meal, always big steak on barbecue, and I enjoy it. Man,
that sounds so good right now.
I love some barbecue too, Aileen. I mean, I don't have a smoker yet, but it's coming.
It's probably a birthday present.
But I love barbecue, man. I've been grilling like crazy. We grill probably every weekend, and we do it year round. So I'm out there in the snow grilling.
We're actually thinking about taking a barbecue judging class this summer, like something fun to do. So just a little bit about us.
It's going to be tough to hit your macros when you got to go to a barbecue judging class and eat the ribs and brisket and pulled pork.
Is that part of it? Because that makes me want to do it even more. It'll have to be after my show.
Yes.
Or I'll be bringing my little compact kitchen scale with all the sauces I'm trying.
Yeah, they're teaching you how the rib is supposed to pull away from the bone. You're supposed to look at the smoke rings.
You're making me hungry.
Et cetera. So that's just something a little on the side that we do and we enjoy. I watch all the barbecue shows. I work with a guy that does barbecue competitions. I might jump into that at some point.
That'll be fun.
But we are definitely highly considering. I'm probably 99% going to do the barbecue.
Yeah, I can't wait for sure. All right, y'all. So that was a lot of tips we threw out at you guys. You know, I just encourage you to make sure you're tracking your food, you're doing it accurately, and be really strategic on how you adjust your plans and be patient with yourself. Give yourself some grace. Yep. It's a learning curve to use all these tools and do it right.
It is. And I've said it a million times. Progress is never this, right?
It's not linear.
It's never a straight line up. You're going to get bumps, go, ooh, and then go back up. Hit a bump, ooh, and then go back up, right? It's more like a staircase. Mm-hmm. It's not a big line that goes up, right?
And keep it simple, y'all. Like James and I joke about this all the time because I am an engineer. Like you can't out-engineer things. Like you can't try all these, tricks to maximize. Just eat what you're supposed to eat. Like keep it simple.
Mm-hmm. You want to mess an engineer up? Ask them a yes or no question. Tanique said, good stuff, y'all. Great session. Thanks, Tanique. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, y'all. We'll be on the lookout for that grocery store haul. We show you us shopping at the grocery store and what we picked out to eat.
And remember, we're socially awkward, so it comes across on the camera a little bit.
Oh yeah, that was the worst.
Big T says the mayo replacement cottage cheese game changer. It is.
Yeah.
And so far, I've been liking the cottage cheese, maybe even more than mayo. So.
Yeah, there's always a great swap out. If you need more tips on common swaps, just drop us a line. We'll tell you what a recommended swap out for whatever the condiment or thing is. And so, enjoy the coming videos this week, and we will catch you next Sunday, same time, same place, 12 Eastern. And don't forget to subscribe. And if you really enjoyed today's session, don't forget the super thanks. But thanks, y'all. We love talking to you, and we will catch you next week.
All
Bye,
right.
everyone.
Take care now.
See ya.